Damn. Unfortunately, the Chicago Bears are under attack by the NFL, but this is the cost of doing business when your team is good, and I don't like it. Welcome back to Bears Yard. This your boy Vipe, and news just came down about half an hour ago, maybe 40 minutes ago, that Chicago Bears former Chicago Bears offensive coordinator Declan Doyle is taking the same job with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, before there's any confusion, some of y'all might be asking, Vipe, how can Declan take the same job with the Ravens? Can't the Bears block that? Blah, blah, blah. And technically the Bears could block it, but in Baltimore, Declan Doyle will be calling the offensive plays, which he does not do here in Chicago, because obviously Ben Johnson is the primary play caller for the Bears on offense. So Declan Doyle took the job in Baltimore, where he will be calling plays for MVP Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and the boys over there. He gets to run with their new head coach, Jesse Minter, who is a defensive-minded head coach. So Declan will run the entire show offensively over there in Baltimore. And it kind of makes me sad, man. When this news came down from Schefter and Rappaport, I just was like, no! Because Declan Doyle was my favorite assistant coach that the Bears had last year. I love listening to his press conferences. I think he spoke every Thursday, I believe the coordinator spoke. And he was my favorite one to listen to because he was so detailed and nuanced about what he would tell the media and different things like that about how plays work and what players were supposed to do and how they were doing it and different things like that. So I'm going to miss Declan Doyle. But with that, now we got to figure out who replaces Declan Doyle. So there's a few in-house candidates that Ben Johnson can promote. The most notable name that's coming up is the quarterback coach, J.T. Barrett. That will be an obvious promotion that Ben Johnson could do if he wants to do that. You also have Antoine Randall, who is the wide receiver coach, but he's also the assistant head coach. So I wonder if making him the offensive coordinator will be an actual promotion, since he is technically the assistant head coach to Ben Johnson. So I guess it would. He'd be going from receiver coach to offensive coordinator. But again, he is the assistant head coach of the Bears. So I don't know how much of a promotion that would be, but his name is out there. And also the passing game coordinator, Press Taylor, is another person that could be elevated to offensive coordinator. And we know that Press Taylor does have previous offensive coordinator experience because he was the OC in Jacksonville before he came over here to Chicago. If you're asking me personally, out of those people, who would I like to see get the job? I would probably lean on J.T. Barrett, since he has such a good, close relationship with Caleb Williams. And obviously, the goal of the offensive coordinator and Ben Johnson and everybody on that staff is to maximize the talent of Caleb Williams. So I feel like elevating J.T. Barrett will be the best thing for Caleb. But there's also an outside name that people have brought up, and that is Tanner Enstrom, I think, or Enstring, wherever his name is. He was the offensive coordinator for the New York Jets, but the Jets just fired him. He used to work in Detroit with Ben Johnson. I think he was their passing game coordinator or whatever the case may be, but he is out there on the market. So there's a lot of thought that Ben Johnson could bring him over to Chicago to be the offensive coordinator. So Tanner Enstrom is definitely another name to look out for as well. But Declan Doyle is not the only loss that the Chicago Bears have suffered this week, because the Atlanta Falcons have hired former Chicago Bears assistant general manager Ian Cunningham for their general manager role. And there's been a lot of controversy around this particular move, because the way it's supposed to work is that if a minority candidate gets hired for a head coach or a GM job, then the team that they got hired away from normally gets 2 compensatory third-round picks. But because of the organizational structure in Atlanta, because Ian Cunningham won't be, or it's a possibility that he might not be the primary football decision maker, the Bears might not get the compensatory pick, which is kind of lame. I don't think the Bears are going to challenge it, because apparently the Bears knew that this would be a possibility, and they still let him interview and accept the job. So unfortunately, it looks like the Bears will not get the compensatory pick for Ian Cunningham. But either way, I am happy for Ian. He has been waiting for his shot for a very long time. I think there's a lot of Bears fans out there that are like not doing too well with this news, and they're all upset about the compensatory pick. But I'm happy for the man. He now gets a chance to run his own ship there in Atlanta. So I wish Ian nothing but the best. I wish Declan Doyle nothing but the best. Like I said, he was my favorite assistant coach for the Bears, and now he's in Baltimore. Ian's in Atlanta, and you all know that we also lost Eric Bieniemy, our running back coach, to Kansas City, because he's going to be the offensive coordinator in Kansas City, which is a job that he had a few years ago, but now he's back there to do that again. So we've already lost 3 pivotal pieces in the Bears coaching staff and front office. Al Harris is still here for now, but I'm hoping that he's one person that hopefully we can keep on staff, but there's still 2 head coaching vacancies that are wide open that have not been filled. So there's a possibility that they might come calling for our heads once they have their head coaches in, and that is the Raiders and the Cardinals. So I'm crossing my fingers that we can at least at the very minimum keep Al Harris, but I'm not holding my breath because he's already done 3 interviews, so I don't know. But Bear fans, how are you feeling about the loss of Declan Doyle, Ian Cunningham, Eric B. and me? Drop a comment and subscribe to The Yard for all things Chicago Bears.